I do not know about all that noise that diamonds are a girl's best friend. Seriously? Gold bars are a girl's best friend. Moving to southern Missouri is the best thing I've ever done for my family. Precious metals might soon be everybody's best friend because we do have legislation, and it's being passed all over the country, but is now making serious headway in Missouri to have gold and silver be legal tender. And why is it called the Constitutional Money Act? Because it's in the Constitution. Because only precious metals are supposed to be used for debt and tender. Now, I admit I stopped paying attention to this sometime last year when I got my heart broken because HB 1955, I believe, was shot down in the Senate. And I was really sad because I'd heard that it had passed the House, and I just kind of assumed. Do you guys ever do that where you just assume it's going to pass because it makes so much sense? It's like in the Constitution. Why would we argue about it? But you know Democrats, they will. So yeah, it got shot down, and there was a lot of aspects of it that were really powerful that weren't just related to using it as tender. So both HB 1955 that was shot down last year in 2024 and the current bill, HB 630, are pretty much just mirrors of each other. And they both actually allow for the state treasurer to hold 1% of state funds in precious metals. So real quick, we've got to do a little vocabulary so we can continue talking about precious metals. I noticed that both of these bills and in the constitutional money sphere, really you hear the word a lot of specie. So specie are stamped coins that are minted by the government. That's what most of us buy. Bullion is actually the pure form, so bars, ingots, unstamped rounds, and large cast pieces of precious metal. And I want some because those might be even more of a best friend, I'm thinking. All jokes aside, I buy silver because I can't afford ingots, which are apparently large casts of gold. But I do someday want to at least hold a gold bar. That is on my bucket list, and if I could own one, that would be really cool as well. So now that we've got our terminology set straight, this bill allows for specie, right, to be used as any legal tender. Now, of course, that's at the discretion of the debtor, right? They don't have to accept the precious metal, but they now can if they want. And it goes further to talk about the state, that the state has to accept for taxes, debts, or any fees, has to accept specie or bullion. It also expands and eliminates even more of the taxable events around using and investing in precious metals, which is very good. But this bill goes further, HB 630, and it prohibits the state or any department, agency, court, political subdivision from seizing any person's lawfully owned specie and deems that seizure unlawful and punishable in court. And I also like that it specifically states something that is not easy to have done in Missouri, even if you win your case, which is that, so any person whose specie legal tender is seized in violation of this provision has a cause of action in a court of competent jurisdiction, with any successful such action resulting in the award of attorney's fees. So no money out of your pocket if the state comes for your gold or silver. And it doesn't stop there at the state. It also says that there will be no federal acts, executive orders, administrative orders, rules, regulations, statutes, or ordinances infringing on the right of a person to keep and use specie legal tender as provided in HB 630. And it says again, there should be no restrictions for any person to acquire legal specie tender and for any transaction, and there shall not be any law that discriminates favoring one legal tender over another. This has been a very subtle but very debated point in this bill. I want to talk about it real quick. There was a lot of people that were hypothesizing that that section of the bill is actually what got it shot down. Although I have to say, the whole thing is so bloody constitutional, it's ridiculous, but this is where we're at, folks. This is so where we're at. But a lot of people felt like that last line specifically was too protective against the enforcement, or I should say like the forced use of central bank digital currencies. And I mean, probably like me, you've gone down some rabbit holes and started feeling fear and worrying about like end times and how will you buy and sell without the mark of the beast, and do you already have the mark? Like, is it your cell phone? Is it, you know, in the air we breathe? I mean, who knows? There's lots of theories, but I think we do not need to fear. I think that, well, first of all, God is in control, 100%. But second of all, I just think that there's going to be too many opportunities, just like this bill is stating, for people to step outside of the code that they're going to try to enforce and use an assortment of tenders, even bartering as tender. And it's just so quintessentially human. And when I step away from fear, I remember that no government has ever been able to stop that. But to wrap up this video, I would say this is yet just another piece of legislation, just like the elimination of capital gains tax, that makes Missouri an incredibly favorable place to move to and reap some capital gains, stack some bullion, and sit back and enjoy the beautiful Ozarks. And like always, you guys, I'm super happy you came and hung out with me. Got to talk about precious metals. It's something really near and dear to my heart. If I could sit down and tell you my story with precious metals, I don't have what I should have. Let's just say that. But I am going to get there, and I'm going to keep doing it for my children. It's actually something I really believe in passing along, and a lot of people debate it and talk about how it's not a good investment, and that's never the way that I've looked at it. I've always looked at it as a holding of wealth so that it doesn't diminish to inflation and, you know, like tyrannical governments or whatever. So I've always seen it in that way. But I have had my first client now that did, shout out to you, Nick, if you're watching, that did cash in on his gold. I made him send me a picture. I made him send me a picture of what he had to cash in, and came and bought a piece of land here. And so cool. And he asked if the sellers wanted to take gold, and they didn't. And yeah, Nick, you're coming here at the right time, because, you know, where your head's at is like where Missouri is going. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so everyone, let's all get working and start stocking. All right, you guys, until next time, enjoy this beautiful realm. Let's all do what we can to strengthen the kingdom. And if you guys need to talk anything real estate, reach out to me. Always, my information is in the description. You can do all the things that a human does to communicate with another human, and I will respond to you, and we can get you potentially moving to the next best phase of your life. All right, you guys, until next time. Bye.